Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're getting spicy. Today we're taking a look at a move update that most people probably forgot even happened, TRAILBLAZE being given to Tauros. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, Mr. Fleek, so many thanks for the battle submission. Tauros is a pure normal type Pokemon with the moveset of Tackle, Earthquake, and now the new charge move of TRAILBLAZE. So TRAILBLAZE will allow Tauros to boost up its tackle damage, but a lack of a good bait move might hold it back. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and let's get spicy with TRAILBLAZE Tauros. Hopping into the first match, and we see one of the best possible leads, Golisopod into Shadow Walrein. Golisopod is an absolute wall-to-wall rain, as there's nothing that Walrein can throw that Golisopod doesn't resist. Golisopod is going to farm up and fire off Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace does some chip damage, going for Aerial Ace number 2 and winning CMP over the Walrein. Walrein is going to let the second Aerial Ace go as well. The fact that the opponent is staying in such a negative matchup has to mean that they are weak to Golisopod somewhere in the back as well. Golisopod continuing to farm. Walrein firing off another charge move here. Walrein goes for another Icicle Spear. Golisopod able to hang on and make it to another Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace is going to KO the Walrein, and let's see what the opponent has in the back. They have Muck farming up with the Golisopod, and Golisopod is able to make it to a Liquidation. Liquidation will get some solid chip damage onto the Muck, and now in comes Shadow Alolan Sandslash. In the back, it's Swampert. In comes Tauros. The opponent has to be confused here. Why is there a Tauros on my screen? Tauros tanks the Hydro Cannon. Tauros can't quite make it to the TRAILBLAZE. Tauros committing the shield. Tauros farming up, going for the TRAILBLAZE. Do they respect the damage? They do not! Swampert gets one shot, and these tackles are now boosted. They're firing off a charge move here. We see the immediate no-shield from the Tauros as Muck goes for the Dark Pulse. And now Shadow Alolan Sandslash is in a terrific position to sweep this endgame. Sandslash can tank the Dark Pulse here. So Sandslash can very comfortably no-shield, and Sandslash is just looking to make it to 3 Ice Punches. Already at the first 2, Ice Punch is going to get the shield from the Muck. Continuing to farm up with the Sandslash. Sandslash makes it to the back-to-back Ice Punches here, and that should be game over. Muck fires off the Dark Pulse. It is a CMP tie. Going for Ice Punch number 2 here. Ice Punch gets the final shield. Alolan Sandslash is at Ice Punch number 3 as well. That's going to be taken out Alolan Muck, and that is a good game. We see another positive lead in the next match, Golisopod into Cresselia. Golisopod definitely has to be one of my favorite Ultra League mons at the current moment. It feels extremely flexible into just about anything you can see. Liquidation does get the defense drop, and that is incredibly helpful in tilting this matchup even more into Golisopod's favor. Cresselia will go for the Grass Knot. Grass Knot does a solid amount of neutral damage onto the Golisopod. Golisopod going for another Liquidation into the Cresselia. This time we do not see a debuff. They're firing off a Moonblast. Moonblast is going to be getting Golisopod low, but Golisopod is going to get the farm down. Opponent does not let that happen. They're going to save switch into Giratina Altered, which will be answered by the Shadow Alolan Sandslash. Shadow Sneak is going to connect, farming up a lot of energy here. Building up to the back-to-back Ice Punches is the Sandslash. Ice Punch will be shielded by the Giratina. Giratina firing off another charge move here. Shadow Sneak will get them low, commits the shield, and it's a Dragon Claw bait. That is a bit unfortunate. We see the no shield here from the A-Slash. Opponent going for another Dragon Claw, and that's just not going to cut it. A-Slash massively overfarming and firing off another Ice Punch. Ice Punch into the Giratina will secure the KO. In comes Cresselia trying to catch a move from the A-Slash, but great patience. And in the back, it's Registeel. Drill Run will connect, making it to Drill Run number 2 here. Is the opponent going to let this go, or do we see the final shield? The final shield is used, and it's Tauros time. But Tauros takes super effective damage from Focus Blast here. Tauros calls it massive damage, but the Tauros survives. Can it make it to the Earthquake? Yes, it can. Let's go, Tauros. Tauros, Earthquake, get that Registeel out of here, and that's a good game. We see same leads in the next match, Golisopod into Cresselia. The opponent staying in, so Golisopod more than happy to stay in as well. Overfarming by 1 and playing to the CMP tie as Golisopod comfortably wins CMP over Cress. Cress shields the first move, and we do not see that defense drop. Cresselia fires off the Moonblast. That's a very safe no-shield for the Golisopod. Golisopod again gonna overfarm and again play to the CMP tie. Opponent already shielded once. It's unlikely they're going to use both shields on a Mon as tanky as Cresselia. And there we do see the defense drop that Golisopod is so known for. Golisopod will be able to overfarm quite a bit here. Again, play to the CMP tie, and with the defense drop, the extra Shadow Claw damage, this liquidation will very comfortably KO. In comes a Giratina Origin, gonna bank the liquidation, send in the Tauros. Opponent doesn't know what they're seeing. They're gonna fire off a Shadow Ball, but that is double resisted into the Tauros. Oh no, they send in Swampert, and it's time. Tauros going for the Trailblaze, double super effective damage into the Swampert. And now what is the Giratina gonna do? Everything they throw here is double resisted. Ominous Wind, Shadow Ball, it's not gonna matter here. Opponent getting spiced on something serious. Tauros now going for the boosted Earthquake into the Giratina. Giratina gets KO'd, and that's game over. We see Swampert again in the next match, but this time it's on the lead, and Golisopod absolutely crushes Swampert, so the fact that they're staying in again means that the opponent is probably core broken by Golisopod. Honestly, at this point it's not too surprising. Golisopod ends up core breaking a ton of teams. Liquidation connects, and we see the ever impactful defense drop. They go for the Earthquake. Golisopod able to tank that just fine. They're firing off a Hydro Cannon here, and Golisopod will be able to let this go and overfarm quite a bit if it wants to. Opponent is now going to save switch into Cresselia. Cresselia will be met with the liquidation, and then my guess is we're going to be seeing the Shadow Alolan Sandslash. Farming up, and now the switch into the Shadow A-Slash, and Cresselia's energy is entirely resisted here. There's no move they can throw, even if they go for their hardest hitting move, which is Future Sight. That's not a problem for the Shadow Alolan Sandslash. Sandslash can no-shield this move as well. It's the Moonblast from the Cresselia. And A-Slash looking to farm up to the back-to-back drill runs. Drill run number 1 into the Cresselia is going to be no-shielded. A-Slash looking for the farm down and gets it. A-Slash leaving this matchup with a ton of energy. In comes the Swampert, and Swampert will be met with double ice punches here. The Swampert kind of has to let this go, and they do, but in the back, it's a Giratina. And Giratina will be met immediately with double Ice Punches. Ice Punch gets the shield from the Tina, going for Ice Punch number 2. And then Giratina is going to have to deal with Tauros in the endgame here. In comes Tauros. Tauros, these tackles are double resisted, but it's double resisting the Shadow Claws from the opponent. Opponent goes for the Ancient Power. Hold on a second. They get the boost. Is that going to be enough to save the opponent here? They now go for the Dragon Claw. They were going for the Hail Mary Boost Con, and they actually managed to get the boost. We're now going to see a shield from the Tauros on the Dragon Claw, and Tauros, no Trailblaze baits here, just going for the Earthquake. Earthquake into the Giratina, will connect. Tauros looking for the tackle farm down, can't quite get there as Giratina will fire off another Dragon Claw. Tauros going for the double resisted farm down of the Giratina and gets it. Hopping to the next match, picking up another positive lead, Golisopod into Shadow Poliwrath. Again, Golisopod, just an absolute beast, and helping deal with a lot of the Pokemon that these backline doesn't necessarily want to go up against. Farming up, going for the Aerial Ace, that will hit for big super effective damage, and this is an Ice Punch. Golisopod will resist everything Poliwrath can throw. Opponent save switches into Registeel, and this is a big problem. A Registeel save switch doesn't have an answer on this team. As A-Slash, of course, you can go for a Drill Run, but Drill Run is not going to be enough to KO. Tries to go for the Zap Cannon catch, but is unsuccessful. Commits the shield as Registeel goes for the Focus Blast. Going to look to overfarm here. Liquidation did get the debuff, so Drill Run, I think, will actually KO here. It's going to be close, though. Firing off the Drill Run, that will get the KO onto the Reggie. The opponent is going to send back in the Poliwrath. These counters are absolutely shredding through this poor Sandslash. Sandslash goes for the Drill Run and gets a shield. Sandslash will get countered all the way down. Poliwrath leaves with energy, but the good news is you can soak the energy onto the Golisopod. Going to wait the timer here. In comes the Golisopod. In the back, it's Steelix. Steelix farming up energy here as Golisopod will fire off the Liquidation. Liquidation into the Steelix will be shielded. We see the drop, a switch into Tauros, and Tauros now in a difficult situation here where it's switch locked against a Breaking Swipe user. That's just going to continue to debuff and debuff and debuff. They're firing off another Breaking Swipe. Tauros' attack is now 2 stages debuffed. Tauros trying to make it to the Earthquake and gets there. But this is a non-stab Earthquake, and it's double debuffed. That's not going to KO the Steelix. Steelix able to hang on. We see the switch into the Poliwrath, and Tauros cannot make it to the Trailblaze. That is unfortunate. And from here, just gonna let this through. Ice Punch is very, very close to KOing. Golisopod is able to hang on. Can it farm down and leave with the move? It cannot. And that's game over. Picking up a decent lead in the next match, Golisopod into Jellicent. Golisopod, of course, will hit for super effective damage with the Shadow Claws, and has the ability to go for neutral Aerial Aces, or go for the slightly less damaging Liquidation, but fish for a potential defense drop. Aerial Ace will connect, opponent throwing 1 Hex in the move, so throwing their charge move on good timing. Shadow Ball connects into the Golisopod, that does quite a lot of damage. Golisopod farming up 4 Shadow Claws and throwing on very nice timing here. In this matchup, you do want to throw on 1, 4, 7, or 10, but we're going to see a catch onto the Tauros. Is it the Shadow Ball? Yes, it is. What a beautiful catch. In comes Scrafty. These counters hitting for super effective damage into the Tauros. Tauros gonna fire off the Trailblaze. Trailblaze will hit for neutral damage and buff up its attack. Actually gets a shield from the Scrafty as Scrafty farms all the way down. But Scrafty leaves with a massive amount of energy, and that is quite worrying, as you absolutely have to get rid of the Scrafty. It cannot see the Shadow A-Slash. Scrafty full sends the foul play. No power-up punch bait is massive there. Firing off the Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace will be no shielded by the Scrafty, and that's a CMP tie. Scrafty at another charge move. This is looking very tough. In comes a Ninetales in the back, and maybe there's a chance. Farming up with the A-Slash, going to fire off the Drill Run, but that Scrafty in the back is still extremely threatening. A9 commits the shield. A9 going to fire off a charge move here, but everything they can throw is resisted. It's going to be the Psyshock. Psyshock not going to do a lot of damage. A-Slash going to need to massively overfarm, and does. Is this Drill Run going to be enough to KO the A9 here? Drill Run into the A9, will not KO, but gets the farm down and leaves with a move loaded. Opponent sends in Jellicent, and Jellicent will be met with the Drill Run. Going for the undercharge onto the Jellicent. In comes the Scrafty. Scrafty gets the farm down. It's gonna be a race, and Golisopod wins CMP over the Scrafty. Aerial Ace will secure the KO. Moving into the next match, picking up a positive lead, Golisopod into Trevenant. Golisopod does very well here. Opponent running some serious spice as they save switch into a Shadow Shiny Arcanine. These are earlier rank battles, so we might see some fun picks, and the opponent bringing the spice with the Arcanine. Arcanine, are they running Psychic Fangs? No, they're going for the Crunch, and they get the debuff. Going to be firing off this Liquidation into the Arcanine. Arcanine is going to let that go, and they get KO'd. Is the opponent going to send back in the Trevenant, or do we see the third? They're going to send in Magnezone. Magnezone gets the farm down. Magnezone now going to be answered with Tauros, but Magnezone up this much energy is a massive, massive problem. Going to try and call a bait here. Magnezone goes for a Mirror Shot bait. That's step 1. Unfortunately, Mirror Shot did get the debuff there. They go for the Wild Charge, erasing Tauros. And now it's Sandslash versus the Trevenant. But the uncomfortable thing here is if Trevenant can reach a Shadow Ball, that forces the final shield, and then there's nothing preventing a Wild Charge from happening. And this, unfortunately, is going to be the Shadow Ball that forces the shield, and now Magnezone is going to be able to win this game. Back in comes the Magnezone, going for the Drill Run. Just have to hope that the opponent calls a bait here. Drill Run will be shielded, and that's going to be game over as Magnezone does reach the Wild Charge. Magnezone up energy is incredibly scary, and that's a good game. Hopping to the final match, leading Golisopod into one final Swampert, and the Swamperts keep staying into the Golisopod lead. And this is one of Swampert's toughest matchups because both the Hydro Cannon and the Earthquake are going to be resisted. They go for the Hydro Cannon. Golisopod immediately answers with the neutral Liquidation. Liquidation connects and gets the defense drop. Golisopod farming up and winning CMP over the Swampert. This Liquidation will absolutely KO. Opponent is going to commit the shield, and we see a second defense drop. Oh my goodness. Hydro Cannon will start to get the Golisopod low. Opponent is going to save switch into an Air Slash Charizard, and Charizard, you really, really want Wing Attack here. Air Slash is just a terrible fast move. Air Slash farming up, just way slower than Wing Attack, and we are going to see the double Ice Punches reached by the A-Slash. Ice Punch will get the Charizard low, going for Ice Punch number 2, making sure to throw on good timing here. Putting pressure on that final shield. Opponent is going to let the Air Slash Charizard go. And now in the back, oh boy, they have Talonflame. This is not what you're hoping to see. This is double super effective damage onto the Sandslash. Switch Clock comes up and able to send in the Golisopod and make it to the Liquidation. Liquidation will force the final shield as Talonflame gets the farm down. And this is going to be tough. Tauros only has resistant moves here. In comes the Swampert, and Swampert looking to fire off some energy here. Tauros is going to let this go. Hydro Cannon connects. Tauros looking for the farm down. Can't get the farm down. Tauros going to let this go. Oh my goodness. Tauros able to get the full farm down here. In comes the Talonflame, making it to the single resisted Earthquake. Will this be enough to KO? It does not. In comes the Sandslash. Sandslash farms down and gets the win. All in all, Tauros, even with the new move of Trailblaze, is definitely not a Pokemon I'd recommend under any circumstances for the Ultra League. However, these battles were a lot of fun, and I think it's a really good reminder that this is a very long season. So you don't necessarily have to be running a tryhard team every day. There's plenty of time in the season to run some fun stuff, like for example, a Trailblaze Tauros, and have some fun with it. Because we still have, over 2.5 months left in the season to climb. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.